Benny Gantz, Chairman of the National Unity Party and former Minister of Defense, to be interviewed by Tzvika Klein.
How are you?
Good. Very happy to be here. Thank you very much.
So a few weeks ago, you were at a conference in a settlement called Ofra, and you spoke about, and Israel Gantz was there, right? Who is not your cousin, I think, but you have the same last name.
You've checked it before, and I didn't have the luck to be his family.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, so you spoke about the fact, I'm not quoting you exactly, but basically you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, those who think that a two-state solution is feasible or a Palestinian state is feasible are delusional or living in a fantasy world.
Yes, definitely, if I may, I think we have so many challenges around us in the Middle East and around Israel, from Iran to inner terrorism that we might face in Israel, and economical issues and social issues. But I think the first and foremost importance is getting back our hostages. I think that's the most important element. Complexities have been with us for those years, and they will be with us for the future, but I think that our commitment to each other is most important, and I think that the fact that we are willing to pay prices for them coming home, it's a show of a strength and not a show of a weakness. And I was so happy to see the families, and I still see the families here, and I wish for them to strengthen themselves, because it's a long journey and an ongoing effort, but we must get all the hostages back home, and we will take care of all the rest later.
Amen, definitely.
As far as your questions, I think that, like Israel said here before, most Israelis would not like to control the Palestinians. Mm-hmm. But all the Israelis are not willing to take the security risk for any future arrangement. And for us, looking into the future, we must find ways of living one aside another, but we cannot take the risk. And what I said in Ofra was that if you look at the state as it is, as people just expecting to have a state, that's a delusion. Israel must maintain security superiority over the whole region, and we must be able to take care of ourselves in terms of security, and I think that's what leads us all the rest.
Okay, so you're a former IDF chief of staff, former defense minister. President Trump visited the Middle East last week, and we spoke about it on the stage. There are those that were disappointed that either he didn't visit or saw it as a missed opportunity for Israel in the Middle East sphere during that visit. Do you agree with those claims of a missed opportunity?
I think we must maintain a bipartisan relations with the United States and vice versa between the United States to the State of Israel, regardless who is the Prime Minister or who is the President. I think that the relations between our two nations and our two countries have such a high importance for both of us. Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. I think it is the strongest country in the Middle East, and I think it should stay the strongest country in the Middle East, and that's not only our interest, I think it's the interest of the United States itself. So I'm not too excited of a visit here or a visit there, a speech here or a speech there. I'm looking at the essence of the relations between the United States and Israel. And I know there's no other Israel for the United States in the Middle East, and there's no other United States for Israel elsewhere in the world. So I think we will maintain our relations, and I think that's what we should focus on.
Okay. So before you were chief of staff of the IDF, you were head of the Northern Command. And President Trump, during his visit, spoke about, and he encouraged al-Julani, al-Shara, president of Syria, to normalize relations with Israel. So you know Syria very well. I don't know how in depth you know it, Is that even feasible? Do you see it as something possible?
Well, I think it's very important for us to take the lesson from October 7 and make sure there's no meaningful threat that is being developed along our borders that will set the base for future invasion as we saw the one on October 7. So I think for us, it's very important to combine the balance between being alert to potential threat, but also not to miss opportunities when those shows themselves around. And I think that potentially the government of Lebanon that can try and save Lebanon from the hands of Hezbollah, and it's in the hand of Giuliani to decide what kind of Syria he wants to have in the future. So from our perspective, I think we should be alert, stay on alert in terms of security aspects, but if there are options for normalization and who knows where it can go, and then I think it can be a good chance. So we should combine between those two all the time.
Okay, so you're saying Lebanon and Syria are potentially, can potentially be part of the Abraham Accords, potentially an ally.
In Hebrew you would say, אני שמח שזה המצב, אני לא סומך על המצב. I'm very happy that situation, I don't count on it. So we will be ready for whatever come, but let us hope that there will be a better future.
Okay. Let's hope, that this war will end very soon. Hostages will be released. What is the day after for Gaza and also maybe possibly Judea and Samaria? So what is, is it a Riviera, as President Trump mentioned? Is it, I don't know, is it a external government?
Yeah, well, I think that while focusing on the day after in Gaza, we must first look at the day after in the entire Middle East, and it regards with Iran itself. Because I think Iran is a global challenge. Iran is a threat for the region's stability, and it's also a threat for the state of Israel. And it's a threat for the state of Israel from its direct activities and definitely the potential of nuclear, but also the support of terrorism as we saw it in that case, Hezbollah on one hand and Hamas in the other hand. So first and foremost, we must make sure that Iran cannot continue to negatively influence this region and definitely not reaching nuclear capacity that will back them up while doing those things. So once this is neutralized, I think that the future of Gaza has one condition to the long run. It cannot be Hamas. And it shouldn't be us. So it has to be someone else who is seriously taking that place. I've said so many times before, it's a question of a decade-long event until something can be built for them in Gaza and we can live beside it. And secondly, a generation of de-radicalization on fixing the education system and making something else but this as a vision for those people. We will protect ourselves. I've moved to Yad Mordechai. I know how it is to live around this border right now. I think we can handle it. The most important, as I started this discussion, is getting back the hostages, and all the rest will be taken care of later. We are strong enough to go through this process, and I'm sure we will succeed.
So no Riviera and immigration of Palestinians to...
Well, I mean, if those who wants to live and there are those who are willing to accept them, I think it's great. And I don't forget, eventually everybody is a human being, and the people of Gaza need to have a better future for them than those jihadistic that kept them captured as if you wish hostages through this life. But once again, we care for our people, for our hostages, for our border. Look, who did they murder? Who did they murder? People that went to Erez Passage and took them to hospital on daily basis, they were murdered later? Ophir Lipstein, my friend, that wanted to build a 10,000 workers industrial zone for them, and he was murdered. So they not just murdered our people, they murdered in many ways their future. So they need to change the way Hamas cannot control it. We will defend ourselves, and that will be the future of Gaza. It's there to decide.
Knesset member Benny Gantz, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so very much, and I want to thank you for having this very important conference that take the reality of Israel and say the truth outside. It's very important. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
נהדר.